Hello and welcome to this video on overwatering and underwatering your bonsai and how to tell which is which. In some ways, bonsai are like Schrodinger's cat, or at least when it comes to watering, they are. Until you look closely, you are either overwatering or underwatering and you don't know which, or possibly doing both. And unfortunately, in doing one, the other, or both, you have made a terrible mistake that will probably destroy your bonsai in the near future. Bonsai trees are miniature trees. They are miniature versions of full-sized normal trees. However, despite this, they do have unique watering needs due to their relatively confined root system in a small pot and the way the soils in those pots will behave. Overwatering and underwatering are amongst the most common issues that will not only cause stress but ultimately kill your bonsai. Sometimes through neglect, other times through caring too much, and other times by simply not identifying the problem that's happened. The key challenge to this is that some of these symptoms will have a great degree of overlap. For example, leaf wilting is the same thing in overwatering and underwatering, but the reason that underlies that is significantly different. As a result, diagnosis will require checking multiple signs including soil moisture, root health, and some of your environmental factors. The proper watering will also depend heavily on species, pot size, soil type, climate, and season. Bonsai typically need well-draining soil to prevent root problems, but this doesn't always fix everything. So we'll try and break it down so that you can tell what each sign is, what issue is being presented, and hopefully provide some comparisons for clarity, although not always possible. So if we start with signs of overwatering. This is the easiest thing that can happen because most people when they first get into bonsai will look at their bonsai and go, oh, you're in a small pot, you need lots of water, and then proceed to essentially drown their bonsai. Overwatering does occur when soil stays wet for too long. This leads to oxygen deprivation in the roots and promotes fungal growth or even root rot. This is especially common for beginners as mentioned. The beginners will typically focus on a fixed schedule rather than a, not necessarily reactive, but appropriate response level of watering. You can figure out what's needed by mostly checking the soil needs. Roots will essentially drown, although drowning is not quite an accurate word for it as that's only part of the problem, and the trees therefore can't absorb the nutrients they need. Without nutrients, well, everything else dies. Think of what would happen if suddenly you could no longer source any kind of food. You might get by with your own resources in your home for a time, but you would gradually starve to death. Bonsai does the same thing without roots. But that does also mimic other deficiencies. The key signs are going to include yellowing of leaves without the crispy edges, leaves turning a pale yellow and dropping prematurely. This will happen because the excess water disrupts nutrient uptake, and it does start with older leaves typically. Wilting can occur despite the soil being moist. If the trees look droopy, the leaves don't look quite right, but the soil still feels wet, you probably have issues to do with damaged roots, and that means the water can't be transported effectively, so the foliage is wilting, as if it is underwatered, but it's not. This oxymoron is generally a result of things like root rot, and that's symptomatic of a foul odor. The rotting roots will tell you they are rotting because they will stink. You can gently remove the tree from its pot to check the roots. If this is going as planned, you should be able to lift it up gently, and most of the soil should come with it, other than that which is not currently being used by the root mass. These roots should be soft, and ideally somewhat fibrous, if they're healthy. If they're rotting, they'll be soft, but also mushy and black or brown instead of somewhat firm and white. A soggy, rotten smell from the soil is basically your best indicator though, and it requires less prodding and probing of the root ball. Black or brown leaf tips, particularly for indoor bonsai, are a signal there's root damage from oversaturation. It's poor water distribution to the leaf edges. It can be a result of mold, fungus, or algae on the soil surface. White mold, green algae, or a slimy texture would indicate persistent moisture. This is what encourages and is practically essential for the microbial overgrowth you're seeing the effects of. If there is a slow growth or leaf drop, the tree may be shedding leaves en masse and the new growth stalls as the root system is failing. Again, no new nutrients coming in, no new growth occurs. There are some other factors you might want to look at though. Overwatering can be exacerbated by, say, poor drainage. If your bonsai pot doesn't have adequate drainage, either get out your drill or look at repotting. There's also low light, which can reduce water usage, meaning that even though your pot is getting enough water, it can't actually use that. And in other cases, cooler temperatures. This is having to do with the tree's behavior as its temperatures cool down, although not necessarily always the same, and not necessarily having to do with dormancy. For species like jade bonsai, overwatering might initially present as soft discolored stems as well. If all of these things go untreated, it leads to irreversible root decay. Here's a very rough comparison of the two. By contrast, we have signs of underwatering, and this can also be a problem if, for any reason, you're unable to care for your tree, you've left it in the tender hands of someone else who doesn't really know what they're doing, or in other instances, you've misdiagnosed what's happening. Underwatering happens when the soil dries out too much, and this inherently deprives roots of moisture and causes dehydration. It's a very big problem and a very common problem in small bonsai pots. They dry faster, especially outdoors in hot, windy conditions, or if you're in an indoor location with low humidity, where soil moisture not only goes into the air around the bonsai, which then gets carried off that much quicker, but into the bonsai itself. Chronic underwatering will stress the tree, make it more susceptible to pests and disease, and overall possibly cause more harm, in other ways, obviously. The key signs for this are going to include dry, brittle or crispy leaves that feel almost paper-like, and they may begin to curl or have brown scorched edges. This will typically start at the tips and margins, progressing inwards towards the stem of the leaf, if it gets to that severity. Hopefully you catch it well before then. The wilting with dry soil is going to start with foliage dropping off the tree, and the soil will feel bone dry to the touch, even sometimes pulling away from the pot edges. Unlike overwatering, the soil won't be soggy. The easiest test to know if you need to add some water just based on surface alone is to take your finger, gently push it on the surface of the soil. If when you take your finger away, some grains are sticking to your finger, it's okay. If nothing sticks, it's too dry. If your leaves are now wrinkled or shriveled, particularly the leaves, but also in some cases stems, if there's especially a fleshy or soft barked, let's say, species, the easy way to figure this out is basically, is it a kind of succulent? It can be a sign of this problem. You may also find that the leaves will pucker or wrinkle as they lose turgor, that's internal water pressure. Now, succulents aren't the only example, but these are the easiest ones to observe it with. Next is brown tips or sunburn-like discoloration. The foliage may show burnt spots from dehydration, particularly if it's on exposed parts. In deciduous bonsai, the tips will turn brown without adequate water. The final significant issue is going to be leaf drop and stunted growth. All the leaves will fall off first, and the tree may not produce new buds to replace them. And this is a good sign and something you need to be very much aware of if you're looking at, say, leaf reduction. If you try and take away leaves to then have them grow back and either produce ramification or reduce leaf size, you may not get that if you're not watering properly. The branches will also become brittle and they'll snap much more easily, which is a concern around wiring time, where you do want to not water the bonsai immediately when you go to do so. You want to have about a 24-hour period beforehand when you haven't watered the bonsai. That makes things a little bit easier. And finally, you have soil contraction. The soil is shrinking and cracking and creating gaps around the pot's interior, where the root mass is holding onto soil, but the pot isn't touching the soil. There are some other factors. Underwatering is particularly common in high light environments, where evaporation is increased, and to a certain extent, a fear of overwatering. Yes, this is an oxymoron, but the fear of overwatering often leads to underwatering, and this can then lead to the very opposite outcome, but the same negative effects. Go figure. For some species, like those, say, in low light conditions, symptoms can mimic overwatering due to reduced water needs. Again, a relatively simple example here for you to see some of the differences. If we were to compare the signs of overwatering versus underwatering, we can sort of compare them side by side, although side by side doesn't really always help. You really are going to have to rely on checking your soil and roots for confirmation. If you have a chopstick or a finger, shove it in there. Yes, it sounds crude, but it works much better than anything else. Whether it's a chopstick or a finger, it should perform basically the same moisture test. Slightly damp, but not wet. If you have your symptoms, you can see here what's going on. If the leaf color texture is yellowing, you're overwatering, particularly if it's soft with no crispiness. If it's browning and crispy, it's underwatered. Wilting, you're going to see that with overwatering with wet soil. Underwatering, yes, but with dry soil. Again, these things are not all that surprising for you. They should be obvious from what's been described. If the leaf tips turn black or brown, it's from rot, and if they're brown and scorched, it's from dryness. If the soil smells bad and looks bad, it's overwatered. If it's dry and cracked, like dry dirt, it looks like it's underwatered. Root-wise, mushy, black and rotten is overwatered because it's rotting. If it's dry, shriveled and firm, it's underwatered. This one can also be a sign of being pot-bound, so just bear that in mind. Growth issues, such as stunted leaves, can be from root failure from overwatering, but stunted with leaf drop from dehydration if you're underwatering. And again, you need to get your fingers in there or something similar to see what's going on. Overwatering's common if you have poor drainage or overcast conditions. So for example, if you're in a particularly wet environment, the UK is notorious for having only a few days of actual sunlight each year. Underwatering is going to be common in hot or sun-exposed areas and from neglect. This is one of the reasons why it's very much suggested to have somewhere semi-sheltered when it comes to bonsai. Shaded, but able to get some sunlight. In terms of prevention and recovery, well, check your soil daily if you can, if not, somewhere to that effect. Insert a finger 1 to 2 inches deep. For those using civilized numbers, this is about 2.5 to 5 centimeters. It's about the depth of the first knuckle on your index finger, or thereabouts, possibly the depth of your thumb if you have particularly small fingers, in that case, thumb. Water when the top feels dry but not parched, this being that roughly 50 millimeters or 2.5 to 5 centimeters, 2 inches. Bonsai soil should drain quickly, so you want to use a mix of akadama, pumice, lava rock or something similar to facilitate that. In terms of watering techniques, soak thoroughly until water runs out the drainage holes at the bottom. Then stop watering and let it dry partially. You effectively let water start running out the bottom of it, and then you stop watering and the water still in the soil soaks through and drains itself out. You then let it dry partially as mentioned, that is, you want it to get to a point where it's not yet dry, but just that little bit of moisture. Avoid sticking to a schedule. Schedules are nice, schedules are convenient, schedules don't account for things like weather and species. For example, tropicals will need significantly more water than conifers do. For overwatered trees, your best option is simply repot it into fresh, dry soil, trim away rotten roots, and let it dry out. You may, if things have gone to a great extent, that is, they've developed very bad tendencies, use fungicide if rot is present. For trees that are underwatered, you can get away with submerging the pot in water for 10 to 20 minutes, and this can often rehydrate whatever media you're using. But then you need to maintain consistent moisture without soaking it after that. You can't use this as a regular recovery mechanism, because then you get to the point where you start root rot. A general advice is simply to ensure good light, but not scorching direct sun, for recovering trees. Humidity trays for those that you're using or growing indoors, and making seasonal adjustments. Obviously, less water in winter, because most trees are dormant, or at least not overly active, and more water, but not necessarily directly applied water, in summer to adjust for heat. If your bonsai is showing mixed signs, consider other issues, pests, nutrient deficiencies, or in some cases improper light. All of these can compound watering problems, or be mistaken for watering problems, and if you're really still stuck, consult some sort of species-specific guides. We do have some of these available for you if you're so interested, and they are linked in the top right. Doing so is recommended for more tailored care. Thank you for watching this video, and if you happen to found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please do post any comments, questions, or suggestions you have below.